Close your eyes. It's June 2016. A convention hall in Macau, China. 8,000 people are on their feet, screaming. On stage, a woman in a red sequined dress raises both arms. She has a PhD from Oxford, or so she says. She speaks 6 languages, or so she says. She's about to make all of these people rich, or so she says. Her name is Ruja Ignatova, and she is selling them a cryptocurrency called OneCoin. She tells them that Bitcoin is for criminals, that OneCoin is the real future, that the banks hate her for it, that governments are trying to stop her, that the people in this room are early, that by 2018, OneCoin will replace every currency on Earth. The crowd believes her. They will lose $4 billion, and then she will simply disappear. Born in Dupnitsa, Bulgaria, on May 30, 1980, Ruja's journey began in a different world altogether. Her family, seeking better opportunities, moved to Germany after the Berlin Wall fell, marking the start of a new chapter in her life. In Germany, she embraced education fervently, eventually earning a doctorate in law from Worcester College, Oxford. Her academic achievements laid the groundwork for a career that would later captivate the world. Everything seemed promising as Ruja joined McKinsey & Company, working in mergers and acquisitions, a role that honed her expertise in finance and strategy. Yet, beneath this veneer of success, a darker path was emerging. In 2012, a conviction for fraud in Germany related to Waltenhofen GmbH hinted at the ambitions and risks she would soon take in her life. The crypto universe is as alluring as it is perilous, and Ruja Ignatova would exploit this like no other. Partnering with Sebastian Greenwood, she crafted the concept of OneCoin, marketed as a transformative financial tool that would outshine Bitcoin itself. They built an intricate web of promises through multi-level marketing, drawing investors from all corners of the globe. As OneCoin's reach grew, so did Ruja's influence. Her charisma and intellect were on full display as she traveled the world, presenting in arenas and convention halls from Macau to Kampala. She painted herself as not only a financial leader, but as an icon of empowerment and change. However, the edifice she constructed was fraught with deception. By 2017, suspicion began to creep into the fringes of OneCoin's empire. Skepticism, whispers of investigations, warnings from financial regulators, each signaled a brewing storm. Yet for those caught in her spell, the allure of wealth and Ruja's magnetic presence overshadowed these red flags. Then on October 25, 2017, Ruja took a flight from Sofia, Bulgaria to Athens, Greece, and she vanished. No trace, no verified communication, no sightings, just a void that left authorities and investors bewildered. The FBI added her to its most wanted list in 2022, amplifying the global search, yet to no avail. Some believe she lives under an alias, hidden in luxury. Others suspect she met a more sinister fate. Her disappearance remains one of the most enigmatic mysteries in financial history. This is a story of audacity and deception, of a woman who defied global systems with extraordinary cunning and intelligence. It is a tale of trust betrayed and dreams unraveled, leaving a trail of curiosity and caution in its wake. As we begin this journey into the rise and fall of the crypto queen, let us unravel the layers of a life shrouded in mystery, ready to explore the depths of ambition and the shadows it casts. This is Satoshi's Lullaby. Welcome to Chapter 1. This is Satoshi's Lullaby. Welcome to Chapter 1. In this episode, we peel back the layers of a remarkable story. One that begins in a small town nestled in the heart of Bulgaria. Ruja Ignatova was born on May 30, 1980. In the unassuming town of Dupnitsa, a place where the rumble of industry once echoed, but had now quieted into the whispers of past prosperity. The town, known colloquially as Little Chicago for its reputation in the turbulent 1990s, was a microcosm of post-Soviet Eastern Europe. The Ignatova family lived through the sweeping changes following the collapse of the Iron Curtain. Ruja's father, Plamen Ignatov, was an engineer, and her mother, Veska, a teacher. Together, they nurtured a sense of ambition in their daughter, even as the world around them shifted dramatically. In 1990, as Bulgaria began its rocky transition to democracy, the Ignatova family made a pivotal decision. They emigrated to Germany, seeking stability and opportunity in a land rebuilding from its own fractured past. This move would shape Ruja's worldview, embedding within her a complex understanding of change, risk, and the allure of reinvention. In Germany, the Ignatova family settled in the serene city of Schramberg in the Black Forest. Known for its lush landscapes and industrious communities, it was a place where Ruja's academic talents could flourish. The town's quiet beauty and disciplined order contrasted starkly with the chaotic transformation of her homeland, offering a safe harbor for her aspirations. She excelled in her studies, demonstrating a precocious aptitude for both the humanities and the sciences. In the classrooms and libraries of Germany, Ruja crafted her path with determination, driven by the echoes of her parents' hopes. Ruja's educational journey led her to Worcester College at Oxford University, where she earned a doctorate in law. It was here that she absorbed not just academic teachings, but also the subtleties of class, power, and influence. In the hallowed halls of Oxford, she learned the language of success, a skill that she would wield like a double-edged sword. The early 2000s saw Ruja embark on a promising career at McKinsey & Company. Based in Frankfurt, she specialized in mergers and acquisitions, a field that thrives on the precision and insight she was known for. Her colleagues described her as brilliant, ambitious, and driven by an unwavering self-confidence. But beneath her professional demeanor lay a burgeoning desire to transcend the limitations of the corporate world. By 2012, Ruja's career took an unexpected turn. She became embroiled in a legal scandal concerning Waltnofen GmbH, a metals business in Bulgaria. Convicted of fraud, this marked a critical juncture in Ruja's life. It was a moment that exposed the fragility of reputation and the perilous edge of ambition. Despite this setback, Ruja's resolve only intensified. She became captivated by the burgeoning world of cryptocurrencies, a movement that promised to revolutionize finance by decentralizing power. It was here that she crossed paths with Sebastian Greenwood, a charismatic entrepreneur with his sights firmly set on the digital frontier. Sebastian Greenwood became a key partner in the creation of OneCoin. Together, they envisioned a cryptocurrency that would not just challenge the financial status quo, but redefine it. Their pitch was seductive. OneCoin was not merely a currency. It was a financial revolution accessible to everyone, everywhere. The timing seemed perfect. The early 2010s were fertile ground for technological disruption. With Bitcoin leading the charge, digital currencies were capturing the imaginations of dreamers and investors alike. Ruja and Sebastian seized the moment, promising unparalleled opportunity and exponential growth. In truth, OneCoin was a house of cards. It relied on a multi-level marketing structure that masked the absence of an actual, functioning cryptocurrency. Yet the allure of wealth and innovation was intoxicating. Investors poured in from all corners of the globe, mesmerized by Ruja's compelling narrative and her meticulous branding of success. By 2017, OneCoin's seductive tale had spread to 175 countries, reaching 6 continents. Ruja had crafted an empire built on promises, an empire that amassed an estimated $4 billion. Her story was one of meteoric rise, but it bore the hallmarks of a classic cautionary tale. It was not just a story of financial ambition, it was also one of human frailty and the yearning for acceptance. Despite growing skepticism from financial regulators, Ruja's public persona remained untarnished. She was a beacon of innovation, lauded for her audacity and vision. Her keynote speeches at glittering events captivated audiences, further cementing her image as a financial savant. Yet, behind the scenes, the foundations of OneCoin were beginning to crack. Rumblings of discontent and scrutiny were growing louder, setting the stage for a dramatic unraveling. In private, doubts crept in among even her closest allies, as whispers of impropriety began to surface. Ruja Ignatova, the crypto queen, stood on the precipice of a dizzying fall from grace. The winds of change were gathering momentum, threatening to dismantle everything she had built. In the next chapter, we will explore how the meticulously crafted world of OneCoin began to crumble. We'll delve into the warnings from regulators, the investigations that ensued, and the initial suspicions that cast shadows over Ruja's empire. Join us as we continue to unravel the enigma of the woman who promised the world, only to disappear into its shadows. The ascent of Ruja Ignatova from a high-achieving professional to an influential figure in the world of cryptocurrency was nothing short of meteoric. After her early career, marked by her notable stint at McKinsey & Company, Ruja had developed a keen understanding of how financial systems operated. With this knowledge, she set the stage for what would soon captivate the imaginations and wallets of investors worldwide. It was in late 2014 that Ruja, along with her charismatic partner Sebastian Greenwood, formally introduced OneCoin to the world. They billed it as the currency that would revolutionize the global financial landscape. The promise was simple yet alluring. Here was a cryptocurrency that anyone could use and anyone could profit from. Unlike Bitcoin, with its complex mining processes, OneCoin required no such technical expertise. It was a currency for the masses, or so Ruja claimed. She emphasized the simplicity of joining the network, presenting it not just as a financial opportunity, but as a movement. In countless presentations, Ruja stood resplendent in her designer gowns, often clad in regal purple, a color symbolizing wealth and ambition. Her speeches were hypnotic, carefully crafted to inspire trust and to blur the lines between aspiration and reality. One such event took place at London's prominent Wembley Arena in 2016. Thousands attended, drawn by the promise of being part of something revolutionary. Ruja, with her trademark precision and charisma, explained how OneCoin was built on a safer blockchain, although its technical details remained vaguely described. She assured her audience that OneCoin would soon surpass Bitcoin in value and utility. Investors were hooked. The allure of quick wealth and the fear of missing out drove them to pour millions into buying educational packages that promised to teach them about cryptocurrency, packages that incidentally included OneCoins. By 2016, OneCoin claimed to have over 3 million members. The currency's reach extended across 175 countries, making it a truly global phenomenon. Ruja's image as a financial trailblazer was solidified further when she was featured prominently in business publications and invited to speak at prestigious financial forums. Yet beneath the glittering surface, there were early signs of trouble. Unlike other cryptocurrencies, OneCoin's blockchain was never publicly verifiable. Financial experts began questioning how a currency could be trusted without transparency. However, this skepticism was often drowned out by the overwhelming enthusiasm from Ruja's followers. In 2015, the Bulgarian Financial Supervision Commission issued warnings about the risks associated with investing in cryptocurrencies like OneCoin. But these warnings were largely dismissed or went unnoticed by the majority of investors, swept up in the fervor of potential riches. Ruja's magnetism was undeniable, and her ability to present herself as both a visionary and a relatable figure resonated deeply with her audience. She often spoke of her humble beginnings, her journey from Dupnitsa to the heights of financial innovation. This narrative crafted an image of a self-made genius, a woman who could navigate worlds previously dominated by men and who now offered others the chance to walk alongside her. Sebastian Greenwood, her charismatic accomplice, played a crucial role. His background in network marketing was instrumental in structuring OneCoin's multi-level marketing approach. Through this model, investors were enticed to recruit others, promising them success stories that seemed both plausible and imminent, further feeding the enterprise's rapid expansion. As OneCoin's reputation grew, so did Ruja's public persona. She was awarded accolades, such as the 2014 Businesswoman of the Year in Bulgaria, which further endorsed her status. Ruja's appearances were meticulously curated, from her powerful speeches to the luxury of her surroundings. Every detail was designed to project success and inspire confidence. Those who attended her events were left with the impression that they were not just investing in a currency, but in Ruja herself. By mid-2017, OneCoin had raised an estimated $4 billion. The numbers were staggering, and the impact was profound. But while many celebrated their newfound wealth on paper, others began asking uncomfortable questions. Critics started to speak more loudly, pointing out inconsistencies and the lack of a tangible product. As whispers of doubt grew louder, financial authorities across various countries began scrutinizing OneCoin more closely. Despite these challenges, Ruja continued to exude confidence. Her vision seemed unshakable, and her followers' faith remained unwavering, buoyed by the dream she sold so convincingly. But underneath this veneer of success, the foundation of OneCoin was beginning to crack. Investors who attempted to convert their OneCoin into real money encountered obstacles, and stories of failed withdrawals began to circulate. The grandiose claims about OneCoin's value and potential were becoming harder to substantiate, and the pressure was mounting. On October 25, 2017, Ruja Ignatova boarded a flight to Athens, leaving behind a world teetering on the edge of exposure. Her disappearance was sudden, and it left both her followers and critics in a state of shock. What lay ahead was a complex unraveling of a story that had captivated millions. With Ruja gone, the illusion she so skillfully maintained began to crumble. Yet, her departure would not mark the end of OneCoin. Rather, it signaled the beginning of a complex search for truth and accountability. As investigations unfolded, the true scale of the deception became apparent. The next chapter would delve into this unraveling, exploring the aftermath of Ruja's disappearance and the relentless pursuit of justice by those left in her wake. Behind the curtain of OneCoin, a complex and meticulously engineered operation unfolded. It was January 2014 when Ruja Ignatova and Sebastian Greenwood conceived their audacious plan. They promised the world a new kind of cryptocurrency, one that would rival Bitcoin and make early investors incredibly wealthy. What they delivered, however, was a masterful illusion. Ruja's vision for OneCoin was nothing short of grandiose. The company was registered in Bulgaria, but its tentacles reached out across the globe. This was not a simple enterprise. It was a sophisticated multi-level marketing scheme. Investors bought packages of educational materials, ostensibly to learn about cryptocurrency and mine OneCoins. In truth, the educational content was little more than a smokescreen. Sebastian Greenwood, educated at American University in Paris, was the charismatic force behind OneCoin's recruitment drive. His background in multi-level marketing made him the perfect partner for Ruja. Together, they pitched OneCoin to the masses with flair and confidence. People from over 175 countries eagerly invested, lured by the promise of exponential returns. Ruja and Greenwood crafted a narrative that was both compelling and elusive. OneCoin was marketed as the cryptocurrency for everyone, not just the tech-savvy elite. Their presentations often included grand promises of financial revolution and liberation from traditional banking institutions. Investors were told that OneCoin would democratize money, making it accessible to the masses. The operations were deeply layered, obscuring the true nature of the scheme from regulators and investors alike. In Sofia, Bulgaria, OneCoin's headquarters buzzed with activity. Teams were employed to process payments, manage marketing materials, and handle customer support. Despite the facade of a legitimate business, there was no blockchain behind OneCoin. a fact that would later become the crux of its downfall. As the initial phase of recruitment gained momentum, Ruja took the stage at numerous events, exuding confidence and charisma. Her speeches were designed to inspire trust and belief in a future dominated by OneCoin. On June 11, 2016, Ruja addressed an audience of over 3,000 at London's Wembley Arena. Her words resonated with attendees, many of whom left the event feeling they were part of something groundbreaking. The allure of OneCoin was amplified by carefully curated testimonials from supposed early investors. These individuals shared stories of financial success and newfound prosperity, claiming OneCoin had transformed their lives. Yet, these testimonials often came from actors or scripted affiliates, perpetuating the illusion of wealth that kept the machine running. In the shadows, Ruja and Greenwood were pulling the strings, orchestrating the flow of money through a maze of bank accounts and shell companies. They understood the complexities of international financial systems and used this knowledge to their advantage. By the end of 2016, they had raised approximately $4 billion. The scheme was a juggernaut, and its architects were seemingly untouchable. However, as with many grand illusions, the cracks began to show. Regulators in several countries, including Germany and India, started to scrutinize OneCoin's operations. Warnings were issued, urging potential investors to exercise caution. Reports emerged highlighting the absence of a functional blockchain, a critical component of any legitimate cryptocurrency. Despite the mounting scrutiny, Ruja maintained her composure. Her appearances became less frequent, but her influence remained strong. She continued to project an image of confidence, assuring followers that OneCoin was secure and legitimate. Her ability to deflect criticism and maintain control was testament to her prowess as a businesswoman and ultimately a con artist. As OneCoin's facade began to crumble, internal dynamics became increasingly strained. Sebastian Greenwood faced mounting pressure as questions about the validity of OneCoin's operations grew. Trust within the inner circle began to erode, creating a sense of unease and paranoia. Ruja, ever the strategist, began to distance herself from the day-to-day operations. In a move that would later be seen as prescient, she withdrew significant amounts of money from the company's accounts. On October 25, 2017, Ruja boarded a flight to Athens and disappeared. Her sudden departure left a void that was impossible to fill. The once unshakable empire she had built was now teetering on the brink of collapse. The aftermath of Ruja's disappearance was chaotic. Investors demanded answers, and authorities intensified their investigations. Without Ruja at the helm, OneCoin struggled to maintain its veneer of legitimacy. The search for Ruja began in earnest, with investigators tracing her steps across Europe. Yet despite numerous leads, she remained elusive, becoming a ghost in the world she helped create. In the months following her disappearance, the true extent of OneCoin's deception became clear. The intricate web of lies unraveled, revealing the loss felt by millions who had invested their life savings. Ruja's name became synonymous with betrayal and deceit, a poignant reminder of the seductive power of illusion. As international efforts to locate and prosecute Ruja continue, the story of OneCoin serves as a cautionary tale. It highlights the vulnerabilities within the burgeoning world of cryptocurrency, emphasizing the need for vigilance and regulation. For those left in the wake of its collapse, the journey toward justice and recovery is a long and arduous one. The legacy of OneCoin endures, shaping the future of cryptocurrency and investor awareness. As we delve deeper into this saga, questions linger about Ruja's fate and the possibility of redemption for those she deceived. The story continues to unfold, and the search for truth presses onward. In the next chapter, we will explore how Ruja's public persona evolved and the pivotal moments that cemented her status as a visionary before the cracks in OneCoin's foundation began to widen. In the next chapter, We will explore how Ruja's public persona evolved and the pivotal moments that cemented her status as a visionary before the cracks in OneCoin's foundation began to widen. Ruja Ignatova, by the year 2016, had become a name synonymous with innovation and boundless possibility within the cryptocurrency world. At the heart of this transformation was her remarkable ability to captivate audiences, weaving tales of financial liberation through OneCoin. Her charisma seemed to know no bounds, drawing in thousands to her grand presentations. Each event was meticulously orchestrated, from the luxurious venues to the impressive multimedia displays. She appeared not just as a businesswoman, but as an evangelist of a new financial era. One such event took place on June 11, 2016, at London's Wembley Arena. As she took to the stage, the atmosphere was electric, buzzing with anticipation and hope. In a sequined gown, she spoke with a conviction that seemed to transcend the ordinary confines of financial seminars. Her vision was grand. OneCoin was not merely a cryptocurrency. It was the future, a catalyst for economic equality and empowerment. Imagine a world where everyone has access to financial services, she proclaimed, her voice echoing through the hall. This is not just a dream. It is a reality we are building. Her words struck a chord with many, as the promise of financial inclusion resonated deeply in a world still grappling with traditional banking's limitations. Behind this allure, however, lay a carefully crafted image. Ruja's appearance and demeanor were designed to project power and confidence. With a background in law and business, her credentials added an air of legitimacy that many found reassuring. Her doctorate from Oxford was frequently mentioned in her introductions, a testament to her intelligence and capability. Yet, beneath the surface, there was a disconcerting pattern, an unwavering focus on expansion at any cost. Financially, OneCoin was flourishing, with reports estimating that over $4 billion had been raised from investors worldwide. This success was not solely due to Ruja's charisma, but also the intricate multi-level marketing structure that fueled its growth. Investors were encouraged to recruit others, driven by promises of exponential returns and exclusive education packages. The allure was irresistible for many, especially in regions where traditional financial opportunities were scarce. OneCoin had found fertile ground, with Ruja as its seemingly infallible leader. However, as the year progressed, subtle indications of trouble began to emerge. In March 2016, the Bulgarian Financial Supervision Commission issued a warning about OneCoin, advising caution. Similar alerts followed from authorities in other countries, including Germany and the United Kingdom. These warnings, though initially dismissed by the OneCoin faithful as misunderstandings, hinted at underlying issues within the organization. Yet, for Ruja and her team, these were minor obstacles in an otherwise unstoppable journey. Ruja's influence extended beyond the confines of OneCoin events. She was frequently invited to speak at international conferences on blockchain technology, often sharing panels with renowned experts. Her ability to articulate complex technological concepts in simple terms won her admiration and respect. Despite the growing skepticism from regulators, she maintained an unwavering course, presenting OneCoin as a legitimate and revolutionary financial instrument. In retrospect, the year 2016 marked both the peak and the beginning of the end for OneCoin. It was a year of rapid ascent, where the facade of success overshadowed the growing cracks beneath. Ruja's vision, however flawed, had transcended into a movement that captured the imagination of countless individuals. Her brilliance lay not only in the creation of a financial phenomenon, but in constructing an unshakable narrative around it. As the year drew to a close, Ruja's public appearances became increasingly rare. Speculation abounded but failed to reach a consensus. Some attributed her absence to strategic planning, while others whispered of mounting pressure from investigations. Whatever the reason, her influence remained palpable, embedded in the ambitions of those who continued to evangelize OneCoin's promise. Yet, behind closed doors, the reality was far more complex and precarious than it appeared. By early 2017, internal documents and testimonies began to paint a clearer picture. The intricate web of financial operations behind OneCoin was under intense scrutiny. A growing chorus of former insiders and disillusioned investors raised alarms, sharing concerns about the company's opaque structure and questionable practices. Despite these challenges, Ruja's narrative continued to enchant, largely due to the absence of concrete evidence to the contrary. In these crucial months, the groundwork for what would become a global financial scandal was laid. The forces that had propelled OneCoin to dizzying heights were now converging in a manner that would eventually expose the vulnerabilities within. Yet, in public, Ruja remained defiant, a symbol of resilience and innovation. Her unwavering belief in OneCoin's potential was both its greatest asset and its most significant liability. As we look back at this period, it is clear that the seeds of doubt were already sown. The cracks in OneCoin's foundation were widening, threatening to undermine the empire Ruja had built with such precision. The turning point had arrived, a moment of reckoning that would ultimately redefine her legacy. In the next chapter, we will delve into the unraveling of OneCoin and the investigations that followed, revealing the intricate tapestry of deception and ambition. In the next chapter, we will delve into the unraveling of OneCoin and the investigations that followed, revealing the intricate tapestry of deception and ambition. What began as whispers of doubt soon echoed into pressing inquiries. By late 2015, financial regulators worldwide started to scrutinize OneCoin's operations. Warnings, initially faint, grew louder from countries like India, Germany, and Italy. The UK's Financial Conduct Authority would contribute to this chorus in September 2016, alerting consumers to OneCoin's dubious nature. But Ruja Ignatova remained unfazed, her confidence seemingly unshaken. The allure of OneCoin continued to captivate many. Amidst the skepticism, her public addresses persisted, promising revolutionary change through cryptocurrency. Yet, beneath the surface, the ground was shifting. Journalists began to dig deeper, their investigations peeling back layers of secrecy. In March 2016, a pivotal article by the Financial Times called for scrutiny, shining a spotlight on OneCoin's operation. Ruja and Sebastian Greenwood, her trusted partner, continued to project grand visions. In June 2016, Greenwood addressed a packed arena in Bangkok, insisting on OneCoin's bright future. The audience, a tapestry of eager investors from diverse backgrounds, absorbed it all. The promise of wealth was intoxicating, yet behind the scenes, concerns deepened. One of the initial cracks appeared in the form of a leaked document detailing the inner workings of OneCoin. It revealed inconsistencies between OneCoin and traditional cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. Unlike Bitcoin, OneCoin lacked a blockchain, the essential ledger ensuring security and transparency. As the reality of these discrepancies became more evident, some early adopters began to question. Timothy Curry, a vocal critic, emerged during this period, becoming a thorn in Ruja's elaborate tapestry. In online forums and YouTube videos, Curry dissected OneCoin's claims, providing evidence that stirred discussion among investors. This growing awareness led to increased media coverage. In October 2016, the BBC released a detailed report questioning OneCoin's legitimacy. The article highlighted the inherent risks and compared OneCoin to a pyramid scheme. Despite mounting concerns, Ruja stood firm. On November 11, 2016, she delivered a presentation in Lisbon. Dressed in her signature red gown, she spoke with unwavering resolve. Behind her, a massive screen displayed the OneCoin logo, a symbol she claimed would soon eclipse traditional banking. Yet, beneath the surface, the structure was unsound. Regulatory bodies worldwide were gathering evidence. the Italian antitrust authority issued a fine of 2.5 million euros to OneCoin in December 2016, declaring its operations illegal. This marked a significant regulatory blow, yet Ruja seemed undeterred. Investors still flocked to events, entranced by the vision she painted. But within these gatherings, subtle shifts were apparent. Questions from the audience grew sharper, more probing. Doubt, once buried under promises of wealth, began to surface. The skepticism permeated deeper when a former insider, who had witnessed the orchestrations within OneCoin's headquarters, stepped forward. Jane Collins, once an ardent supporter, became a crucial whistleblower. Her testimony, coupled with leaked documents, provided investigators with key insights into OneCoin's facade. In March 2017, revelations about fabricated educational materials and misleading financial statements emerged. The cracks widened. As legal pressures mounted, the atmosphere within OneCoin grew tense. Ruja's appearances became less frequent. Despite this, the machine continued to churn. On May 2017, an event in Macau was held, featuring exuberant presentations and lavish promises. Spectacles veiled the uncertainty that loomed. However, the storm clouds were gathering. By the summer of 2017, legal frameworks tightened in Asia and Europe. Investigations were now officially underway in countries such as Germany and India. As August approached, the once flamboyant gatherings became muted. Internal communications hinted at a shift, urging caution among the network's leaders. The urgency was palpable. On October 25, 2017, Ruja Ignatova boarded a flight to Athens and vanished. Her departure marked a turning point. The subsequent silence from OneCoin's figurehead only fueled the fervor of investigative bodies. Media outlets intensified their pursuit of the story. In November 2017, the New York Times ran an exposé, unraveling the deceit that had ensnared over 3 million investors across the globe. This marked the beginning of the end for OneCoin. As 2018 dawned, regulatory agencies escalated their efforts to dismantle the network. The financial losses uncovered were staggering, with estimates indicating fraud totaling $4 billion. In the United States, prosecutors moved swiftly. The Department of Justice and the Securities and Exchange Commission launched comprehensive investigations. These actions coincided with a global alert from Interpol. Sebastian Greenwood was arrested in Thailand in November 2018, later extradited to the United States. Facing charges of wire fraud, money laundering, and securities fraud, his arrest highlighted the gravity of the situation. Yet Ruja's whereabouts remained a mystery. Her ghostly absence intrigued and frustrated those touched by her scheme. Leads surfaced sporadically, each one a potential key to unraveling her escape. Inside the opulent world she once commanded, remnants of disbelief lingered. For those who trusted in her vision, the betrayal was deeply personal. As investigators delved further, the extent of OneCoin's reach became apparent. Victims hailed from 175 countries, spanning 6 continents, each with their own story of loss and hope. The subsequent legal proceedings were extensive. In 2019, a U.S. court charged Konstantin Ignatov, Ruja's brother, with his involvement. His cooperation with authorities offered a window into the inner circle. Amidst the search for Ruja, the broader implications of OneCoin became a topic of global discussion. It was a cautionary tale, a stark reminder of the delicate balance between innovation and exploitation. Those defrauded faced a long road to recompense. Legal battles unfolded across jurisdictions, each striving to reclaim a portion of what was lost. For many, the betrayal was not just financial, but emotional, leaving a trail of shattered dreams and strained relationships. Families once united by shared aspirations now found themselves mired in blame and regret. Yet, hope persisted. The relentless pursuit of justice galvanized a community determined to learn from the past. As the wheels of justice turned, the broader crypto world looked on, contemplating reform and safeguards. The OneCoin saga had left an indelible mark, reshaping dialogues about trust, responsibility, and regulation. In a world increasingly defined by digital promise, these reflections were crucial. As we move forward, the abrupt cessation of Ruja's presence and its ensuing void will set the stage for our next exploration. With each revelation, the story of OneCoin unfolds further, its echoes resonating across time and space. With each revelation, the story of OneCoin unfolds further, its echoes resonating across time and space. As the autumn of 2017 approached, beneath the glimmering facade of success, the shadows of doubt thickened. Investors had begun to whisper, regulators were raising eyebrows, and the air was heavy with anticipation. Yet few could have foreseen the sudden turn that lay ahead. On October 25, 2017, Ruja Ignatova was seen moving through the throngs of Sofia International Airport. Clad in her signature glamour, she blended seamlessly with the crowd, her departure masked by the ordinary chaos of daily travel. She was bound for Athens, Greece, a destination that would soon become enshrouded in mystery. This flight marked the last verifiable sighting of the woman who had orchestrated one of the most audacious financial schemes of the 21st century. Ruja's disappearance was as orchestrated as her rise. It was not merely a physical vanishing, but a strategic retreat, leaving behind a vacuum that sucked in disbelief and speculation. For months, perhaps even years, she had planned for this moment, creating a network of financial havens and false identities. The whispers of her meticulous planning only added to the enigma that she cultivated so expertly. In the days following her disappearance, an eerie silence enveloped the offices of OneCoin. Employees accustomed to Ruja's commanding presence found themselves adrift. Panic set in as rumors flew thick and fast. Was this a temporary absence, or had the crypto queen truly vanished? Meanwhile, investors, some thousands of miles away, faced the chilling reality of an uncertain future. By November, the media had caught wind of the story, and headlines questioned her whereabouts. A charismatic figure who once graced stages across continents, who promised revolution but delivered ruin, had seemingly evaporated. The enigma of Ruja Ignatova grew, casting a long shadow over both her victims and the financial world at large. Even as speculation grew wild, concrete leads were scarce. The flight to Athens was just one piece of a larger puzzle, a puzzle deliberately scrambled to obscure the picture. In the absence of facts, theories ran rampant. Some posited that Ruja had sought refuge in Russia or Dubai, where extradition might be more challenging. Others suggested she had assumed a new identity, blending into a life of anonymity. The search for Ruja also took an emotional toll on her closest associates. Sebastian Greenwood, her erstwhile partner, found himself under increasing scrutiny. His ties to Ruja were undeniable, and with her disappearance, he became a focal point for investigators eager to unravel the OneCoin labyrinth. In September 2018, Greenwood was arrested in Thailand, bringing him face to face with the consequences of his involvement. By the time Greenwood's arrest made headlines, the story of OneCoin had gripped the world. Victims from 175 countries, spanning 6 continents, emerged, each with tales of betrayal and financial ruin. Many had invested their life savings, enticed by the promise of exponential returns and the allure of cryptocurrency's revolutionary potential. For them, Ruja's disappearance was a cruel twist in an already harrowing saga. Yet the human toll was not confined to financial loss alone. The emotional devastation ran deep, trust shattered, dreams dismantled. For some, the shame of having been deceived was a burden too heavy to bear. In a world where digital transactions had promised to democratize wealth, Ruja's deception was a bitter lesson in the vulnerability of trust. Amidst the chaos, law enforcement agencies across the globe ramped up their efforts. The FBI, Interpol, and Europol were drawn into the hunt, their task complicated by the sheer scale and sophistication of Ruja's operations. In 2022, the FBI officially placed her on its most wanted list, a testament to the gravity of her crimes and the determination to bring her to justice. Yet, despite their resources and reach, the pursuit of Ruja Ignatova remains fraught with challenges. In an era where digital footprints are as revealing as physical ones, her absence was conspicuous, but her digital presence was equally elusive. The sophistication of her exit strategy, combined with the loyalty of those still in her thrall, created a formidable barrier to discovery. As the investigation continued, a broader question loomed. How could such a massive fraud occur under the watchful eye of the global financial system? The story of OneCoin, beyond its immediate victims, was a cautionary tale of ambition unchecked by regulation and oversight. It exposed the need for vigilance in an era when the promise of quick wealth can cloud judgment and obscure red flags. The fallout from Ruja's disappearance extended beyond the financial. It sparked debates about cryptocurrency regulation, investor protection, and the ethical responsibilities of financial advisors. Governments and financial institutions worldwide faced mounting pressure to prevent future deceptions of similar scale. The legacy of OneCoin would be felt in every corner of the financial landscape for years to come. Yet, amidst the ashes of OneCoin's collapse, stories of resilience and recovery began to emerge. Some victims found strength in community, banding together to seek legal redress and emotional support. Others channeled their experiences into education and advocacy, determined to prevent history from repeating itself. Their stories, though tinged with loss, were also a testament to human resilience in the face of adversity. As Chapter 6 concludes, the disappearance of Ruja Ignatova remains an unsolved mystery, a haunting reminder of the shadows that lurk in the world of high finance. But even as the search continues, the story is far from over. The aftermath of OneCoin holds new revelations, legal battles, and a quest for justice that promises to unfold in unexpected ways. With so much at stake, the world watches, waiting for the next chapter to reveal its secrets. With so much at stake, the world watches, waiting for the next chapter to reveal its secrets. The story of Ruja Ignatova, the so-called crypto queen, is one that spans continents, affecting lives in ways both profound and devastating. As the dust settled following her disappearance in October 2017, authorities across the globe grappled with a singular question: how to unravel the massive financial web she had woven, and perhaps to bring some semblance of justice to the countless victims left in her wake. The legal actions against OneCoin began swiftly after Ruja's vanishing, with multiple countries launching investigations into its fraudulent activities. In the United States, the Department of Justice took a leading role, indicting key figures on charges of wire fraud, securities fraud, and money laundering. Sebastian Greenwood, Ruja's partner in crime, was arrested in Thailand in July 2018 and extradited to the United States, where he faced serious charges for his involvement in the scheme. Meanwhile, in Germany, prosecutors delved into OneCoin's operations, tracing the flow of money and scrutinizing the network of shell companies and offshore accounts that had been used to obfuscate the true nature of the enterprise. By 2020, they had identified a number of individuals complicit in the operation, bringing charges against several former executives. The intricate financial structures employed by Ruja and her associates demonstrated not just a cunning intelligence, but a blatant disregard for the lives ruined by their actions. In March 2019, Konstantin Ignatov, Ruja's younger brother and another key player in OneCoin, was arrested at Los Angeles International Airport. His arrest was a significant development, as it marked the first time a member of the Ignatov family faced legal consequences for the fraud. During his trial, Konstantin cooperated with authorities, providing crucial details about the inner workings of OneCoin and the extent of its reach. His testimony painted a picture of a high-stakes operation, driven by ambition and greed that had entrapped hundreds of thousands of unsuspecting investors. For the victims of OneCoin, the aftermath of the scandal was a mix of anger, betrayal, and a desperate hope for restitution. Many had invested their life savings, drawn in by the promise of financial freedom and the allure of a revolutionary technology. As reality set in, stories emerged of families torn apart by financial ruin, friendships shattered by mistrust, and communities left reeling from their losses. Consider the case of Jane Smith, a nurse from Manchester, England, who invested £20,000 into OneCoin in 2015. Encouraged by a friend who had attended one of Ruja's lavish presentations, Jane believed she was making a smart financial move. When the truth about OneCoin surfaced, Jane was devastated, not just by the loss of her savings, but by the betrayal she felt from someone she had trusted. Her story echoes that of countless others who were taken in by Ruja's charisma and promises. Efforts to recover the billions lost in the OneCoin scheme have proven challenging. The complex international network of companies and accounts used to hide the assets has made it difficult for law enforcement agencies to locate and seize the funds. Additionally, the rapid evolution of cryptocurrency technology and the lack of comprehensive regulatory frameworks in many countries have further hindered recovery efforts. Despite these obstacles, some progress has been made. In 2021, authorities in the United States successfully seized over $300 million linked to OneCoin, marking a significant milestone in the ongoing investigation. This money, held in various bank accounts and cryptocurrency wallets, represented a fraction of the total amount defrauded, but offered a glimmer of hope to victims seeking restitution. The legacy of OneCoin is a cautionary tale, highlighting the potential for exploitation within the burgeoning world of cryptocurrencies. Many experts argue that the scandal underscores the urgent need for stronger regulatory oversight and investor protection measures. Cryptocurrencies, while offering exciting possibilities for innovation and financial inclusion, also present unique challenges and risks that must be addressed to prevent future frauds of this magnitude. As global efforts continue to bring those responsible to justice and recover lost funds, the story of Ruja Ignatova remains an enigma. Her disappearance has fueled speculation and intrigue, with various theories about her whereabouts ranging from hiding under the protection of criminal networks to assuming a new identity. The FBI, recognizing the international dimension of the case, placed her on its 10 most wanted list in 2022, highlighting the global importance of capturing her. The hunt for Ruja also sheds light on the broader implications of financial crimes in an interconnected world. It serves as a reminder of how technological advancements can be both a force for good and a tool for deception. The case has prompted discussions around the ethical responsibilities of those creating and promoting financial technologies, urging a balance between innovation and accountability. As we conclude this chapter, the world remains vigilant, watching as legal battles unfold and new revelations come to light. For the victims, justice remains a distant hope, but one worth pursuing. And for those in the cryptocurrency space, the lessons of OneCoin are a stark warning of what can happen when ambition overrides ethics. In the next chapter, we will delve deeper into the lasting impact of the OneCoin scandal on the cryptocurrency industry and the steps being taken to prevent such frauds in the future. The story is far from over, as the quest for justice continues and the search for Ruja Ignatova presses on. Where will the path lead next, and what lessons will ultimately emerge from this tangled web of deception? The journey continues. The journey continues. As news of Ruja Ignatova's disappearance spread, investigators across the globe began to unravel the complex web of deceit woven by OneCoin. The scheme, described by the U.S. Department of Justice as one of the largest financial frauds in history, had lured in people from every corner of the world. At its peak, OneCoin had amassed an estimated $4 billion, and the trail of victims extended across 175 countries on 6 continents. The investigation into OneCoin was not an overnight endeavor. Authorities from various nations had started scrutinizing the company's operations even before Ruja vanished. In 2015, financial regulators in Belgium, Italy, and Germany issued warnings against OneCoin, labeling it a Ponzi scheme. These early investigations, however, were merely the tip of the iceberg. Digging deeper, investigators found that OneCoin's purported cryptocurrency did not actually exist. Unlike Bitcoin, which operates on a decentralized blockchain, OneCoin's transactions were controlled by the company's internal database. There was no public ledger, no mining process, just promises and illusions. This discovery was pivotal, shifting the narrative from that of a failed business venture to a deliberate and systematic fraud. As the investigation unfolded, several key figures emerged. Sebastian Greenwood, Ruja's right-hand man and co-founder of OneCoin, played a crucial role. Born in Sweden, Greenwood had a history of involvement in dubious investment schemes. His arrest in 2018 marked a significant breakthrough for the authorities. Yet, he was only one piece of the puzzle. In the United States, the Federal Bureau of Investigation and the Internal Revenue Service took the lead in pursuing justice. Manhattan U.S. Attorney Jeffrey S. Berman stated, "OneCoin was a cryptocurrency existing only in the minds of its creators and their co-conspirators." His words underscored the audacity of the con. The investigation's revelations painted a picture of a scheme meticulously designed to exploit the cryptocurrency hype. In Germany, where Ruja had once been convicted of fraud, prosecutors reopened scrutiny into her activities. Their focus extended to the lavish lifestyle she had led, including luxury properties and art investments across Europe. Investigators traced financial records to unravel the flow of money, seeking to recover losses for the victims. Ruja's ability to evade capture added a layer of complexity to the case. After boarding a flight from Sofia, Bulgaria to Athens, Greece on October 25, 2017, she seemed to vanish off the face of the earth. Theories abounded about her whereabouts, ranging from plastic surgery and new identities to protection by powerful allies. Despite the speculations, confirmed sightings remained elusive. In 2022, the FBI placed Ruja Ignatova on its most wanted list. The move was both symbolic and strategic, aiming to renew public interest and solicit tips that might lead to her capture. The FBI offered a reward of up to $100,000 for information leading to her arrest. This was rare for a case involving financial crime, highlighting the scale and impact of the OneCoin fraud. Victims across the globe grappled with the aftermath of OneCoin's collapse. Many had invested their life savings, convinced by Ruja's charismatic appeal and promises of life-changing returns. In India, investors organized protests demanding the return of their money. In China, several local promoters were prosecuted, and in Britain, a parliamentary inquiry was launched. The emotional toll was profound, with individuals facing not only financial ruin, but also the shame of being deceived. Meanwhile, the legal proceedings continued to unfold. In New York, Mark S. Scott, a former partner at a prestigious law firm, faced charges of laundering approximately $400 million for OneCoin. Scott had allegedly used a series of shell companies, offshore accounts, and a complex web of transactions to conceal the origins of the funds. His trial was a crucial piece in understanding how the fraud sustained itself for so long. As investigators pieced together the puzzle, the broader implications for the cryptocurrency world became apparent. OneCoin's fraud highlighted vulnerabilities in the largely unregulated market, prompting calls for increased regulatory oversight. Financial authorities worldwide began deliberating on how to protect investors without stifling innovation. The case became a catalyst for discussions on the future of digital currencies and the ethical responsibilities of those who promote them. On a personal level, the investigation into Ruja Ignatova raised questions about trust, ambition, and the human capacity for deception. How could someone who appeared so successful, so polished, orchestrate such a massive fraud? The answer lay not only in her persuasive skills, but also in the broader societal dynamics that allowed such schemes to flourish. It was a reminder of the dangers of unchecked greed and the thin line between visionaries and con artists. As the search for Ruja continued, the story of OneCoin remained a cautionary tale. It was a narrative of hubris and downfall, of victims seeking justice, and of investigators unearthing truths hidden beneath layers of lies. Each revelation brought the world closer to understanding the full scope of the fraud and its implications. The investigation into OneCoin's legacy was a testament to the resilience of those who refused to let the story end unfinished. Each step taken by authorities, each piece of evidence uncovered, drove home the importance of vigilance in the face of deception. As we delve deeper into the legacy left behind by one of the most audacious confidence schemes of the 21st century, the question remains: what will it take to ensure such a fraud doesn't occur again? The answer lies in the lessons learned and the actions taken in response. In Chapter 9, we will explore the broader implications of OneCoin's collapse on the global financial system and how it shaped discussions around cryptocurrency regulation. Join us as we continue to unravel the impact of Ruja Ignatova's grand illusion. The tale of OneCoin, with its dizzying rise and catastrophic fall, leaves a legacy woven from both cautionary lessons and profound loss. It serves as a potent reminder of the complexities and risks that lie at the intersection of technology, finance, and human ambition. As the dust settles, we turn our eyes to those left in the wake of its collapse: the investors, the regulators, and the visionaries still grappling with the aftermath of such an unprecedented fraud. Ruja Ignatova's creation, which promised to revolutionize the very nature of currency, instead became a symbol of greed and deception. For many, the name OneCoin is synonymous with betrayal. The initial allure of the cryptocurrency, sold as a chance to participate in a financial revolution, masked the reality of a meticulously orchestrated scam. Over the years, as the illusion unraveled, the true scope of its impact became increasingly clear. In financial terms, the damage was staggering. An estimated $4 billion vanished, siphoned from hopeful investors spanning 175 countries. These were not just ordinary losses. For many, they represented life savings, carefully accrued over decades, now irretrievably lost. In places like Vietnam and Uganda, where OneCoin held particular sway, communities were left devastated, grappling with the enormity of their misfortune. The personal stories that emerged from this financial black hole were heart-wrenching. Take, for instance, the story of Maria Fernandez from Spain. Maria invested her entire inheritance, trusting in Ruja's promise of revolutionary returns. What was supposed to be a secure future for her children instead turned into a haunting echo of what could have been. Like Maria, thousands found themselves facing not only financial ruin, but also a deep sense of betrayal and shame. Beyond individual stories, the OneCoin saga forced a global reckoning with the promises and perils of cryptocurrency. Regulators worldwide were caught in a scramble, their existing frameworks ill-prepared to tackle such an intricate web of deceit. The OneCoin affair highlighted the urgent need for clearer rules and stronger protections for digital currencies. Governments and financial watchdogs found themselves compelled to rethink their strategies, striving to prevent such a calamity from recurring. Furthermore, this scandal underscored the vulnerability of human trust. Ruja's charisma and the carefully crafted narrative of OneCoin manipulated psychological levers, tapping into a universal desire for inclusion in the next big financial breakthrough. This was a lesson in the power of narrative and how, under the right circumstances, it can sway reason and foster blind faith. In the world of cryptocurrency, the shadow of OneCoin looms large, influencing the trajectory of countless startups and investors. The scandal sparked conversations about transparency, ethics, and the moral obligations of financial innovators. New cryptocurrencies emerged with a commitment to transparency and accountability, hoping to rebuild trust in a shaken industry. These changes could be seen as part of OneCoin's unintended legacy, a catalyst for reform and reflection. Among those affected, some found solace in community and activism. Victims banded together, forming support groups and advocacy organizations to pursue justice and restitution. In the Philippines, for instance, a group of defrauded investors initiated a class action lawsuit, seeking redress for their losses. Their efforts, although daunting, demonstrated resilience and a collective will to fight for what was rightfully theirs. Meanwhile, for the enforcers of justice, the OneCoin case became a landmark investigation. Authorities like the FBI, which placed Ruja Ignatova on its most wanted list in 2022, pursued the case with renewed vigor. Their continued search for Ruja and her associates reflects a broader commitment to accountability, ensuring that those responsible for such widespread fraud face the consequences of their actions. In academia and industry, the OneCoin debacle spurred a wealth of research and analysis. Scholars dissected the psychological and sociological elements of the scam, contributing to a deeper understanding of what makes financial fraud so alluring and destructive. Conferences and symposiums dedicated sessions to exploring the far-reaching impacts of OneCoin, hoping to glean insights that could fortify against future threats. Yet, perhaps the most enduring aspect of OneCoin's legacy lies in its cautionary tale. For every new investor, entrepreneur, and policymaker, it serves as a vivid reminder of the potential for human error and exploitation. It is a story that will likely be told for generations, a narrative that warns of unchecked ambition and the dire consequences of ignoring due diligence. As the story of OneCoin continues to unfold, questions remain about how best to safeguard the burgeoning world of digital currencies. The challenge lies in balancing innovation with protection, fostering growth without succumbing to greed. The lessons learned from Ruja Ignatova's rise and fall will undoubtedly shape the future of finance, influencing regulations, technologies, and the very fabric of trust on which economies are built. In the years following OneCoin's collapse, the landscape of cryptocurrency has evolved significantly, with many advocating for rigorous standards and oversight. Organizations such as the Financial Action Task Force have taken steps to develop comprehensive guidelines that aim to prevent another OneCoin-like disaster. These efforts, grounded in the hard-earned lessons from the past, aim to ensure a safer and more equitable future for all participants in the digital economy. Despite the strides made, the specter of OneCoin continues to haunt those who dared to believe in its promises. For some, the scars of financial loss and emotional turmoil run deep, a constant reminder of the fragility of human trust. Yet, even in this landscape of uncertainty and regret, there exists a glimmer of hope, a belief that the world can learn from its mistakes. As we close this chapter, we are left pondering the intricate dance between invention and integrity, speculation and security. The echoes of Ruja Ignatova's ambitions reverberate through boardrooms and living rooms alike, fueling discussions about the nature of innovation and the responsibilities it entails. In the next chapter, we will delve into the ongoing efforts to track down Ruja Ignatova and the ripple effects of her vanishing act on those left behind. For the search is not only for justice, but also for understanding, a quest to uncover the deeper truths hidden beneath the surface of this extraordinary tale. In the quiet aftermath of Ruja Ignatova's grand deception, we are left to ponder a landscape forever altered by her audacity. Her story is more than just a narrative of financial ruin and betrayal. It is a mirror held up to our own desires and vulnerabilities, reflecting the ways in which human nature can be both gullible and hopeful. At its core, the saga of the Crypto Queen is a tale of trust, of how quickly it can be built and how easily it can be shattered. It is about the seductive power of technology and the promises woven into its lexicon of innovation. Blockchain, decentralization, economic revolution. These words were not just marketing tools. They were siren calls to a better future, enticing millions to step into a world they barely understood. Yet, beyond the smoke and mirrors, OneCoin stands as a cautionary tale. It tells us that in the age of digital transformation, the lines between what is real and what is illusion can blur so effortlessly. It reminds us that the allure of quick wealth can override the skepticism that should accompany any too-good-to-be-true promise. Ruja Ignatova's disappearance adds another layer of mystery to this story. Her vanishing act is emblematic of the ephemeral nature of trust itself. Here today, gone tomorrow. In a world where money often equates to certainty, her sudden exit leaves a void filled with questions. Where is she now? Did she find solace, or is she constantly looking over her shoulder? These are questions that linger like whispers in the night. They lead us to a deeper contemplation of what it means to believe in something, or someone, and the price of that belief. As we drift into dreams, let us carry forward the lesson that true security comes not from promises of riches, but from the enduring strength of our discernment. Close your eyes now. Let go of the day's uncertainties. Feel the weight of the world lift as you surrender to the gentle embrace of rest. Allow the stillness to guide you toward a place of peace, where trust is not tested and dreams can unfold without fear. Sleep well, dear listener, and may tomorrow bring clarity and calm.